I welcome you all on this Moksh Academy PG Career Series session. In this COVID world, have to conduct these online sessions. But traditionally, we have been training students for the USMLE and the licensing examinations, and for the informative awareness. We used to actually do in-person sessions across India. So thanks to COVID, now we are completely online. But yes, happy to help you in this entire journey. All right. So I'm your host today, Chirag, and I'm going to run through this entire conversation today with our guest. Today's session is something kind of an insider info, or a kind of a glimpse to what exactly is a journey of somebody just like you in a medical school in India. How did he actually overcome possible obstacles? So we are proud and happy to have somebody from your fraternity, Dr. Jinendra Lalit Satya. He is very much from Bombay. He completed his MBBS from the prestigious Grand Medical College, Sir JJ Group of Hospitals. So just like you, he had his dream to pursue a US residency. He further went on to do his MD in internal medicine from University of Miami, subsequently moved to NYC, where he is a chief medical resident for New York Medical College, and currently he is pursuing his advanced hepatology fellowship at the prestigious Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center, a teaching hospital of the Harvard Medical School in Boston. His interest includes medical education, hepatology, and gastroenterology. So I welcome Dr. Satya on behalf of the entire student community. So thank you very much, Doctor, to be part of this session. Any opening remarks, before we start this power pack questions for you?
Thanks so much, Chirag. It's a pleasure to be here and talk to young students and hopefully provide them insight and answer questions which can be useful to them in their decisions along this long but rewarding journey.
All right, so let's talk about the COVID-19 pandemic and your journey, and IMG experiences. So I thought let's quickly talk, couple of questions, and then we will take up audience questions. So in the current COVID pandemic, what do you see the contribution of IMGs, and what was your role, and how were you involved? In fact, we did see you were featured in CNN as well, describing your efforts in this pandemic and the fight against the pandemic. So if you could share some words on that as well.
Sure, yes. So, as I'm sure everyone's aware, IMGs have been a big part of the front line through the pandemic and continue to be. And I think what's important to know is a lot of IMGs may be working in cities that are less well known, like not big cities, more rural hospitals, which is, sometimes how it works out is that's where most of IMGs get residencies, whatever the reason may be. So, in those smaller places where the American public may not have as much access, I think that's where IMGs really come to the forefront. And essentially, they're running the hospital by their own. For example, where I did my residency in Florida, uh, up to 70% of our hospital was run by residents, meaning to say 70% of the patients admitted were directly taken care of by a resident with an attending, and only 30% was a private practice part section of the hospital. So, as a resident, you're really contributing on a daily basis with the pandemic or not. So, what really helps and keeps you motivated is that you're making a difference. Of course, there are certain obstacles that you're dealing with being away from home and all of those matters, but you're definitely making a difference, and more so now in the pandemic. And for me personally, I was in New York City in the early part of this year. So we were right in the middle of the pandemic in Manhattan, where I was working as a chief resident at a busy New York City hospital with about 70 residents each year. So about across the 3 years, I would say. So we had a dedicated COVID unit. Of course, all of us were working there. I myself was doing extra nights because by then I had given my internal medicine board, so I was allowed to work as an attending. So that's what I did, working as a night attending on the COVID ward in our hospital, working with our residents. And all of our residents were amazing. Some of them did get sick, but all of them recovered from COVID. As a chief resident, our role was to make sure that our residents felt safe working in the front lines, advocating for them, making sure we have enough PPE on a daily basis, which was a huge struggle in back in March and April in New York City. We actually had to keep our masks and eye shields and gowns under lock and key. And as a chief resident, we would maintain a list of when and how often someone's taking a mask. So we were actually right. We were so pushed for PPE that we had to actually monitor every single mask and every single equipment that we had our residents use. So that was the pandemic for us in New York City, and I think all of our residents did a great job. A lot of IMGs. So the hospital that I was working at, 90% I would say were IMGs and a lot of Indians. So I definitely was able to see how we were contributing to the pandemic.
Yeah, and I believe the experience back in India to work effectively with minimum resources, I think that actually helped in this pandemic for a lot of IMGs. Yeah, absolutely. So now, of course, due to the pandemic, what do you think the core residency and fellowship trainings, are they happening regularly, or how it is, because the system was overwhelmed, so what is your schedule? I mean, the schedule has or how is it happening in terms of training programs for residency or fellowship?
Right. I think it's a great question. There's a lot of debate about this. A lot of people in fellowship, not so much residency, because as a resident you're working where you would be regardless of the pandemic for the most part. But for fellowship, there are a lot of people concerned as to if I'm getting my specialized training that I have to get, and I have only a certain number of months to years to get to learn that new skill, the new procedure. Am I going to get that with the pandemic? So there are things that we can and cannot control. So for example, as a policy across the hospital, if they shut down the cardiac cath unit or the endoscopy unit, even if you're not deployed to the COVID unit, you're not going to get the same number of procedures that you would get. And everyone knows fellowship is about volume. It's a number of things you can do and learn, because it's your last chance to learn, and then you're going to be an independent practitioner. So you really want to be able to take care of every case, every complex patient that comes. So yes, things have been affected, but for me personally, I can say where I'm doing my fellowship now, we're such a high volume center. So we've had more than the number of required endoscopies that we would need for our training, and a lot of emergencies, middle of the night endoscopies that I've been able to do. So personally, I don't think there's, the way I would put it is that there's enough happening that you don't feel that your training is compromised. Of course there might be a second surge and there might be things that can change, that I think that's happening across the world, but for the most part, people are still getting the training that they would get.
That sounds great.